ओंटारियो सरकार ने नवा लेजिस्लेशन पास किया है, होमओनर्स प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, ताकि जिन्ने सीनियर्स है या न्यू कमर्स है उन्होंने सेफ्टी दी जा सके स्कैमर्स तो। ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਾਫੀ ਜਦ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਅਗਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਲੀਨ ਪਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਸੋ ਆ ਹੋਮਓਨਰਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਐਕਟ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੁਣ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਲੀਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਸਕਦਾ। ਇਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਸਖਤ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਟੌਡ ਮੈਕਰਥੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆਫ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਐਂਡ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਐਂਡ ਪ੍ਰੋਕਿਊਰਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਿੱਲ 200 ਹੋਮਓਨਰਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਐਕਟ ਆ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਤਹਿਤ ਕਿਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਸੀਨੀਅਰਸ ਨੂੰ, ਹੋਮਓਨਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਨਿਊ ਕਮਰਸ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਿਊ ਹੋਮ ਬਾਇਰਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੀਨ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਲੋਕ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ, ਘਰ ਵੇਚਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਚੈੱਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਲੀਨ ਪਏਗੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਤੇ ਡਿਸਪਲੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਗਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਲੀਨ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਤੇ ਪੈ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਪਈ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਨੂੰ ਰੀਚ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਨੰਬਰ ਵੀ ਡਿਸਪਲੇ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ।
I am honored to have the opportunity to discuss the important steps that our Ontario government is taking to protect new Canadians and vulnerable homeowners from fraud. As trusted community voices, all of you play an important role in sharing crucial information with all Ontarians across the diverse communities of our great province. And I thank you for being here today to raise awareness about the positive impact involving the Homeowner Protection Act 2024, otherwise known as Bill 200. The positive impact that this new legislation will have on all of our communities. This landmark legislation, which passed unanimously in the Legislative Assembly of Ontario, significantly strengthens protections for homeowners and for buyers of new freehold homes. It represents a comprehensive approach to protecting consumers from unethical practices. It improves transparency and it safeguards buyers of new homes. At the core of this legislation is the fulfillment of our government's promise to protect Ontarians, especially newcomers, seniors, and the most vulnerable, who were targeted the most by bad actors misusing consumer notices of security interest, or nosies. Prior to this legislation, consumer nosies could be registered on the land registry of a home by a business whenever it rented, financed, or leased certain goods that became fixtures in homes, such as water heaters or furnaces. Now, initially, nosies were intended to register an interest in financed appliances. However, over the past few years, they became tools for organized and deliberate deception. Tools used to scam hardworking and law-abiding Ontarians. Now, since the early 2000s, the number of nosies registered on Ontario's land registry system skyrocketed from around 400 each year to more than 58,000 in 2023 alone. These registrations often occurred without the homeowner's knowledge and for amounts far exceeding the item's actual value. Homeowners often only discovered nosies when they wanted to sell or refinance their homes, and bad actors took advantage of this to demand high fees to remove the nosies. In some instances, multiple nosies were registered on a single property, leading to sham mortgages that robbed Ontarians of their life savings and their home equity. This practice was disgraceful, intentionally harming our most vulnerable residents, and it had to be stopped. That is why the unanimous passage of this legislation on the 6th of June of this year is one of my proudest moments as the Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement. While bills normally take long periods of time to pass, our government recognized the urgent need to end this unethical behavior. The Homeowner Protection Act 2024 received royal assent within only 11 days of its introduction for first reading. Upon royal assent, this act banned all consumer nosies and deemed all existing consumer nosies to be expired, eradicating the issue of consumer nosy scams in our marketplace. Nosies are now considered to be ineffective. Homeowners need to be aware that this protection is in place so that scammers cannot intimidate them with false nosies. This legislation has taken swift action to bring immediate relief from nosy scams, and now it is up to each of us to help spread the word of this positive message to our public, especially seniors and newcomers to our province. I wish to applaud the tremendous efforts across my ministry, the Government House Leader's Office, the Premier's Office, and indeed the members of His Majesty's loyal opposition to allow this critical legislation to be passed as quickly as it was, to ensure that all Ontario homeowners are protected from nosy fraud, putting a stop to the cause of consumer harm once and for all. Never again will our newcomers and our seniors be cheated out of their hard-earned money or home through a false nosy. Our government will always protect Ontario's hardworking residents in the face of shameful and unethical operators. We heard Ontarians' concerns about the misuse of nosies. We act concerns, and today I am proud to say that Ontario is a safer place because of the passage of the Homeowner Protection Act 2024. Make no mistake about it, we will take every step to reassure hardworking Ontarians that we have their backs. Thank you again for being here today and for your dedication to sharing this important information with your readers, your listeners, and your viewers. By working together, we can ensure that all Ontario residents are informed about this new legislation and how it keeps them safe as homeowners.
Minister, since in your opening remarks, this is a Homeowners Protection Act, and you said Ontario government is seeing that our newcomers or the seniors, or they can be protected from these kind of scams. That's why this legislation is there. But there is one more scam which is going on by the professional tenants, and we have seen the landlords struggling and doing protest on the roads. Does this Homeowners Protection Act include the automatic eviction of the professional tenant who don't pay to the landlord for 2 months or 1 year? Landlord has to bear all those costs, even after going to the LTB also. That's a very serious concern. When we hear this word Homeowners Protection Act, it should include the homeowners facilities. So what do you have to say on that aspect, saving landlords from professional tenants?
Well, thanks, Zendin, for the question about land tenant rights and laws and procedures. We have in place a landlord-tenant board. The Attorney General's office has been making new appointments to the adjudicators on that board and has reduced the delays associated with the adjudication of disputes between landlord and tenants. And that has worked very, very well. And that tribunal is there for that purpose. What we're here to talk about today is the Homeowner Protection Act. Has to do with the protection of the purchasers and the owners of new homes, and in particular, leading off with the abolition of notices of security interest, consumer liens, for lack of a better phrase, that were being misused by the tens of thousands against consumers who didn't even know about them. And what we saw in our consultation before the act was tabled was that seniors and vulnerable Ontarians and new Canadians who might have had challenges with interacting in the English language, they were being targeted most significantly. And so we needed to take action to come to their rescue, to protect those individuals who were literally being cheated out of their life savings or losing their homes entirely because of the misuse of nosies by a few bad actors who were really engaged in organized white-collar crime. So we've taken that decisive action, and we've done that with the Homeowner Protection Act. We've also added the 10-day cooling off period for the purchasers of new freeholds so that they're on the same level playing field as purchasers of new condominium units who already had the 10-day cooling off period.